following contains spoilers for the Lingering Echoes update. If you don't want to be spoiled, please click off the video now. So the Lingering Echoes update finally brought all of the module upgrades for all of the operators who had a module up to this point. So I want to use this video to talk about the 6 Sarkaz modules that we have as of recording, and I want to talk about how they affect the operator in a good or neutral way, how I might add a module to them if they're still not very good, and so on and so forth. So here are the module costs, and we're going to jump straight into it with Flamebringer. So the biggest change for Flamebringer is that he gets a lot more HP, going from 30 to 70 a stack, and that if an enemy unit is defeated in the 4 surrounding tiles, he still gets the stack, so he doesn't have to worry about getting his kills stolen as much. And also he gets a good amount of attack speed. So the good news is that this brings him above 7,000 HP, which helps his bulk, and the attack speed means that he does get it up a bit, or he does technically have a bit more damage and healing on his skill 1 on average, as well as more uptime on his skill 2. The problem is that it doesn't fix his issues because look, I like Flamebringer. I think he's cool. He is just a shitty Tryndamere. Like, if you play League, he is just a shitty Tryndamere, because his entire idea is about fighting to the death, right? So why did Hypergriff decide to make him such a bulky unit? It seems so counterintuitive. They're giving him HP when he needs attack. Give him attack speed. He should be the type of unit like an Enmity Guard that should be like fighting to the finish, fighting until he's got like super thin margins, and then he learns from every battle like a shonen protagonist and kicks ass. Like, that should be his gimmick. But instead, they're making him this really weird pseudo tank that only really has HP. His his stats are terrible in terms of his defenses. Like, this is half Surtr's defense, and he doesn't even have any res. So I mean, the issue at the end of the day is that he doesn't have enough damage, his uptime still isn't very good, and all of the investment, or a large portion of the investment, seems to be going into the stat he needs the least. Because he already has plenty of HP, but like, it kind of feels like a Blissey situation, except unlike Blissey, he doesn't have any utility. So I mean, he's still pretty bad. Obviously, because Sarkazknights only has a handful of units, he still has his niche, especially with his skill 1, because he can sort of do that pseudo-tank, at least with his initial HP, but overall, he's still just not a very good unit. He will continue to be mediocre until they really give him something that can make him stand out in terms of damage or bulk, because this doesn't fix either problem. Moving on into Lava the Purgatory, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that she gets 62 attack, which is nice. The bad news is everything else. She is still not a good unit, because here's the thing. Her talent is garbage. I mean, it's nice that she gets 1 cast off of her skill 1 or her skill 2 sooner. That's nice, and yes, in a Caster Knight's comp, I guess the SP could help. But, first of all, the only situation at Sarkazknights where this helps is in very niche Ifrit usage. Very niche Ifrit scenarios. And second off, the other problem is that her damage is just way too spread out. Like, 50% attack as arts damage over 40 seconds. The ratio is just so low that the upfront damage, or the damage for even a fourth of that duration, is pitiful. And that her skill 1, I mean, 20% attack buff. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, it's just, she really needs better uptime, she needs better damage up front. And even with Viscous the Purifier coming out, which will help her, I still just feel like she needs a lot of help before she can really be a reliable unit, because AoE casters already suffer enough, and I mean, this module just doesn't help her that much. I don't understand why this is so utility-centric. Just boggles my mind. Meteorite's module is just good. That's all there is to say about it. I mean, she's less RNG reliant now. The attack buff stays the same, but she gets 65 flat attack as well as 100 def ignore. I mean, what do I even say? Her uptimes are already good. Her talent is already good. She's not going to be able to compete with W in some situations, but that was the case before anyways, and W only gets better if her module, so I mean, it's everything Meteorite could have asked for, short of attack speed reduction, or attack speed, or a higher damage increase when her talent procs, but I mean, she's good. It's just good for her. There's not much else I could say about it. Pretty good overall. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything because I'm just looking at this and I'm like, okay. Okay. 5% healing effect. 65 attack, I'll take that, but 5% healing effect. Now, the question I do have is that all healing effects, or is it just her healing? But either way, she's already good. The module doesn't change that. She didn't need a big buff in the first place, so nothing changes. The lone Sarkazknights Vanguard, the hero of almost every Sarkazknights run, this little 4-star rock star, finally gets her module. It's coming and break the ice, and it is good. So the RNG improvement is really nice because Vinya has historically had really low RNG, like pretty bad, and there are a lot of runs where it's pretty frustrating, like if you don't get the good RNG, especially when her skill isn't active. There are also some situations where her damage just isn't high enough, or where she's just under killing when her skill isn't active, like in this below 40% HP threshold. So this module is everything for her. The only thing I could ask for, again, would be a bit more attack speed, or maybe something that would help get other units onto the field. But I mean, like, it's 130 additional attack when her skill 2 is active, for a 30-second duration. The attack interval increase doesn't really matter. I mean, she's just... what do I even say? Like, Vinya is core. She'll continue to remain core. She is already pretty good at what she does. The only thing I could ask for again would be that additional DP providing. But other than that, she's already a solid unit and just makes her better in every way. Like, she doesn't really need the additional bulk because she already gets the job done for the most part. So, I mean, like, I'm very happy for her. I'm definitely going to pick up this module immediately. It's probably going to be the first module that I rank up to level 3 just because of how important Vinya is. And overall, I am quite satisfied. I mean, especially considering the RNG when her skill isn't active, because that is notoriously bad. That going from 10% to, where is it? I believe it is 20%. Yeah, that going from 10 to 20, I will take that. Thank you. Thank you, Hypergriff. No complaints. Thank you for buffing her. I am definitely going to need it. You know, this Seisa module is honestly pretty good. I wonder if W got a similar module. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh wait a minute. Hold the phone. Nah, I'm just kidding, interview. Okay, this module is probably the best one of them all. I have been really growing to like W over the past few months, and at first I was really obviously disappointed with her module because there are very few scenarios when you're using W that you want her to be hitting blocked enemies. She's almost always going to be hitting enemies at range, either indirectly via her skill 2 mines or via her skill 3 burst. So the situations where she would get this additional 10% attack were very rare. But then, they must have listened to that criticism, because look at this. 6% additional physical damage on her talent. Now, it's very important to note here, for those who are unaware, W's stun on her skill 2 and her skill 3 applies before the damage. So her skill 2 and her skill 3 directly benefit from this damage buff from her talent. So that's the first important thing to note. The second important thing is the SP gain. Now, W is one of those fun units where you take her onto a map with like one of those SP recharge stations, and you just let her go ham for skill 2. Because her skill 2 is only 8 SP at skill 2 on 3. This just makes it even better. I mean, what do I even say? It's like more uptime, lots more damage, and she gets almost 80 attack to go along with it. And to top it all off, you would think, oh, the additional HP isn't that good. It is for W. It most certainly is, because her other talent directly plays into indirect res and defense via the arts and the physical and arts dodge. So this is more chances for W to dodge. I mean, I'm happy. I'm really happy. I was so depressed about this module at first. It was the most disappointing one by far, even outmatching Nightingale's. And then Hypergriff was just like, we made we did some upgrades to W's L2D skin. We want her to sell. Do it. Do the buff. They did the same thing to Skady. I think they're gonna do the same thing to Mostuma. Like, what do I even say? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I could literally cry looking at this. Thank you, Hypergriff. So that's all of the modules for Sarkazknights so far as of Lingering Echoes. To summarize, Flamebringers basically does the bare minimum to help him. He is still problematic. Same goes for Purgatory. Meteorite and Vinya's modules are both very good because they make them less RNG reliant. You don't have to repeat runs as many times to get the maximum value out of them. Otherwise, it gives them exactly everything they need. And for Vinya especially, it is crucial because she is the core of Sarkazknights. So if you get any module first, I would recommend getting Vinya's, both because it's the cheapest and because it has the most direct benefit for Sarkazknights. Because just better RNG on her skills, I'll take it. 130 attack, I'll take it. So I mean, yeah. And then the best one by far, W module. It's not even close. They knew that she had a good LTD. They improved the LTD. They improved her module. There's just nothing to say here except that it is perfect in almost every way. Give her 5 ASPD just for the memes. And then Nightingale's module is absolute doo-doo. Worst module I have probably ever seen outside of the range tile increase. Doesn't matter because Nightingale is already extremely good and she didn't need a good module to begin with. That doesn't stop me from being disappointed, but I'll wait on her second module. So that is all of the modules we have so far. The one module I really want to see next for Sarkazknights is Mudrock, because I can wait on Ifrit and Surtr's modules, but with Mudrock, I'm really fascinated to see what they're going to do, because both of her talents, especially her talent 1, I really wonder what they're going to add on to that. Like maybe they go something like the Dusk route and they just improve the max HP percentage, or they improve the uptime slightly. That would be the safe play. I would really want to see maybe something like they give her more shield immediately on the deploy. Something like that. That would be interesting. Nothing they do with Mudrock, save like just giving her flat increases, would be uninteresting. Both of her talents and her trait. So I'm really curious to see what they do with her and Vulcan, because the good news is, since it's only the 2 of them, it would be very easy to add those modules in, and that's what they did for Unectus, I hope I didn't butcher that, and Aurora. So I'm really curious to see what happens there. When that happens, Hypergriff, please give her attack. She doesn't need defense. She doesn't need HP. She is already good in that aspect. Make her bonk harder. That is all I ask. That is all I ask. Or lower her DP cost, that would work too. But anyway, yeah, that's all of the Sarkaz modules in general. I just hope I didn't forget anyone. I'll link the video in the description. What do I even say about this? 7 attack speed, 82 attack. She gets the 9th hit on her skill 3 now. Sucks that she doesn't get a 10th attack, but that's fine. DP cost -8. She gets an 18% global slow. She gets a 30% slow inside of her attack range. And it triples on her skill 3 to 90%. Which further increases to 99% if you have her at pot 5 or higher. What do I even say? She still has issues. She's still an exception. She still has issues. Her SP cost is still pretty bad. Her first talent is good for Caster Knights, not so much for other scenarios. It's fine, but not what I would ideally pick. But otherwise, they basically said, no more Moody Blues. Not much else to say. It's just really damn good. So that's the real end of this video. Thank you all for watching. I will have more Sarkazknights videos in the future. So yeah, thank you, and I'll see you then.